when their guy plays some games. Alright, hi everybody, Weather Guy here. We are back with more of The Witness. Hope you're doing great. I am feeling not too bad, pretty good. I haven't played this in a few weeks, so I may be a little bit rusty, but I do remember how these Tetris puzzles work now, so that's good. We'll see how that goes. We have to do these 3 puzzles, and then who knows what's after that. Probably something activates here with this, and then I don't know. So we're gonna see how that goes. Yeah, I hope y'all are doing fantastic. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a fantastic spring. We're still getting snow here. Isn't that crazy? It's April. We're getting snow. I'm not used to that. It's my first year living here, so. And Colorado. Alright, so again, the gimmick for these Tetris puzzles, which I'm sure if you're watching this, you know, but I'm going to reiterate for myself and my own sanity. And that way, if I'm incorrect in my assumptions about how these Tetris puzzles work, you can correct me. Okay. So, Tetris puzzles. We have to make a shape that contains the shapes shown in these yellow blocks, right? And because these are slanted, it means that they can be oriented in any direction. So for example, hypothetically, we could have this sort of shape for the T in the top left, right? In addition to that rule, you can combine the shapes together into one larger shape. So maybe something like this would cover both of those two shapes, right? Of course, this doesn't really work because we don't have an escape. But in general, that shape would work because you have a T and then you have the L shape connecting to it. Actually, that's an incorrect shape. It's one short. Oh well. You know what I meant. Alright, those are generally the rules as I understand them. And we're going to see what we can do. God, my words. This diagonal shape with the two catty corner yellow Tetris things, I have a hard time visualizing how to make that work usually, you know. I think the easiest way to make it work is to combine it with another one. So I think logically what we can try to do is something like this. Which actually works, I think. How does it not work? Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, I spent a lot of time on this last time. I just remembered that. I realized why it didn't work, though, because the T sort of overlapped with it. Okay. So, another trick that I was doing was I was counting how many squares I would need. So for this, I need 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 2 is 11. So that means we should have, if we're trying to combine them all together, we should have 11 squares within this shape. On this one we have 11, but it's not shaped correctly. You can see that we have a T on the top left, right? We have an L to the bottom right corner of that, but then our two yellow, our catty corner ones aren't catty corner, they're vertical. So that doesn't quite work. Just trying to think of a way to... Yeah, I think we have to have this combined with that. That works, but then this doesn't work. Because again, we'll have the T overlapping with the L in that case, which is just not good, you know? And another thing to remember whenever we're doing this is it doesn't have to touch. Like the shape doesn't have to touch the... Like the T doesn't have to touch the T section. Like the T section could be all the way on the right side, for example. So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe that'll be helpful for me. I don't know. You just have to have the shape included somewhere, right? The yellow part. So if we instead do like this... no. We can't do something like this at all, because we won't have a way to reach the bottom shape. Like, we won't have a... Gosh, it's so hard to talk in terms with this game whenever I'm playing it, where it's easy to explain my thoughts, right? But if we do this shape, or something like this, the issue is with the bottom left corner, we don't have a shape that will reach the bottom left corner, really, right? What if we do... No, nothing like that. Just trying to think of weird shape ideas. You know what I mean? And it's really difficult. Okay, so let's say we have the T over here on the right side. We have the long bit there. It still doesn't quite work, does it? Just trying to think of where we could maybe do the corner, the caddy corner piece separately for whatever reason. So if we put the, let's say hypothetically the T is in the bottom left corner. Caddy corner would be where? I don't know what else to call that besides caddy corner, by the way. I'm sorry if that is a weird term to use. How's this look? T in the bottom right. Doesn't work. Same issue that we've been running into where it overlaps with the huge piece, right? We make it longer, what happens? Right? What happens if we make it longer? Same thing that happens if we do it the other way. Where we don't have the caddy corner available, really. Just in the way I'm visualizing it, at least. So let's try thinking of something else. I gotta get away from this sort of shape, but I know we have to extend out here to a degree. You know? It's like, is there ever anything weird like that? How many is that? That's 3, 6, 9, 10. If we extend it one more, it's still not going to be quite right, is it? This is a shape I keep coming back to. I did this last time, too. I'm such a fool. Alright. Let's see, how else can we shape this in a weird way? How else can we make this shape odd? You know what I mean? That's way too many, isn't it? Wait, no, 4, 8. That's 11, so let's look at it more closely. It's still the same sort of issue, isn't it? Always the same issue. Where we can't get the T and the big piece to cooperate. You know what I mean? Never quite aligns the way we're hoping. Is there another way to make that work? Just looking at it. If we do something like this, and instead we, how did I have it? More like this? No. More like this. How many shapes? How many is that? That's 4, 8, 12. Cut it off there. That's not it. This is hard. This is very difficult to find the right shape. You know what I mean? That's too many. That is enough, but let's see if it works. It probably will not work. No. think I need to thin this up a bit. Do we need that there? I think we need that there. The trick is we have to include this bottom left square, which means we can't go straight up really, because then we still have to include this, and it gets really awkward. You know? I don't think there's a way to really do that. Well, let's see. We do this. What does that mean for us, right? We would have the T in the top right. We could fit the L in the from the bottom left, but then where would our caddy corner go? There's nowhere for it to go. Nowhere for it to go. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, that doesn't work. Simply does not work. I always come back to the trusty old shape. Alright, how many is that? 4, 8, that's 11. Let's see what this looks like. Just trying to visualize a way where this works. L would have to go there, so that never works. That one simply never works. Huh. Gosh, we're already 12 minutes in. I'm such a failure. Alright, let's try going in a different direction. Let's just do something odd like this real quick. Just to see. That's 3, 7, 11. Okay. Gosh, it's so hard to get that caddy corner in there, you know? Yeah, that's the same issues. Man. And the issue I'm having with this too is I'm having a hard time thinking logically about this. I'm having a hard time visualizing this in a way where I can break it down to solve it, right? Even looking at the one I solved before, I can't recall how I did that. That looks insane to me. Oh, I think I can, looking at it now. It took me a second. Okay. So that was a corner piece is what it was. Okay. Just... No, that's not going to be like that. Gotta include this, right? Is there a way where we do this where we... I'm just trying to visualize it a way where we do this without that, right? Like this sort of shape. And then there's a way we can cut that off the right side to do the other shape. You know what I mean? Okay. I was doing way too much. That was so much easier than I should have. I'm so dumb. This next one theoretically shouldn't be too bad. Simply because we have a very large block shape. There's only so many ways we can put this shape in here, right? But another issue is we have the spaces blocked out in these different junctures, right? So, let's see. Is this one where you want to try to include everything? Is this going to be a weird one where they sort of intersect? How many squares we have? We have 6 plus 4 plus 4, so that's what, 14? Then we have 4 per row. Okay. So maybe it's 4, 8, 12. No. Nothing like that. Could be something simple as... Well, this would never work. Okay. That would simply never work. Alright, let's think about doing this in a different way for a moment. Not that way. That's the same thing I just did. Oh, we could always shape it differently, though, and put the two... This, right? This may be something. What did I miss? What's wrong with that? Oh, I can't even see what I had. Oh, crap. Hang on. It was what, like this, right? What's wrong with that? One of my assumptions incorrect? Oh, I know what my incorrect assumption is. We can't turn that six-pack sideways. Six-pack gotta be straight up. Okay. Fine. We'll just do something different. So that means that these two are always going to be connected, because you have to have the six-pack going up from here, and that means it's always going to include the other L shape. That's cool. So we can't do a shape like this. Probably not. Well, maybe. Let's see. Trying to visualize. No. Maybe... No. Don't think so. What else we got? This? Oh, but then we're stuck here, right? Oh, and that's also incorrect because that's flipped. We don't flip it, we can only rotate. Alright. What else can we do here to make this work, right? What else could we do? Oh, could it be still this shape somehow, a little bit? Like, what if we... How would this look? Like, if we did like this... No. That still doesn't quite fit. Isn't gonna fit, is it? I was trying to see if we could have the six-pack be like sort of on the right side of the shape, but I don't think that really works. I think that really works. What else could we try? This? No, not at all that. This? No. So six-pack vertical, right here. You could also have six-pack vertical like over here, on the right side. Thing sideways. This up. No. Man, this little thing is getting in the way a lot. Alright, what else could we do? Nope. Six-pack on top. That underneath doesn't really work. What about this sort of shape? No. Never that shape. Just trying to figure out where we would put this L, you know? Where do we put it? This? Nope, did it again. It would be what? Trying to just see if we can put it directly next to it, but that doesn't really work out. Well, that works, but we don't have a way out when we do that. What else could we do here? Very tricky with all these different gaps they're given us, you know? And we need what? 6 plus 4 is 10. We need 10 squares. Okay. And each one of these rows is 5. But it doesn't work if we do straight up and down at all. Not at all. No shot. Okay. 10 squares. 6. Like that. Again, I keep doing this stupid shape. I don't know why. I should be able to just reverse it, right? I'm just having a hard time getting my life together. You know what I mean? You'll ever have that issue? You can't get your life together? That's not it. Man, I was thinking something. No, it's so dumb. No. How the heck do you get this shape to work with that shape? How do you make it happen? With all these stupid holes. Alright. We gotta lock in. We're gonna stare at it for a minute. We're gonna lock in. We're gonna think to ourselves. You're gonna think whatever you're gonna think. You're gonna alt tab or whatever. That's fine. I'm gonna think here for a sec. Alright. So looking at where all of our gaps are at, it's making me wonder if we need to do it somewhere towards the middle. But if we do it somewhere towards the middle, I feel like we're going to have a really hard time getting the top shape to work, right? So maybe I need to start considering the world where all the shapes are together in one big shape, right? Maybe that's the world we're in. You know, what does that world look like with 14 squares? Like, what's this look like? Is this good? How many is that? 6, 10, 12. Okay, so let's just do this. How's this look? Probably not much better. No. Trying to just visualize it. These are just These fit together. Those fit together. Okay. See? That minute of silence and thinking works out. Alright, so this one we have a couple of weird triple boys. And then we have a long corner down here. We have a single boy, which is really tough, I believe. Which means it has to be right here in this spot or somewhere else. We could theoretically have like a T shape right there. Right? This is 3 left, 3 up and down, so that's a large shape. You know? That would... it would be at this point where we would need tea time. Is that the proper term, tea time? Or we could do something different like this, right? And then, no. Oh, this is one's gonna be a pain on my butt, I can tell. You naturally want to do... oh, we can also maybe do something like this. Boom. That just takes care of that shape. We don't have to think about it anymore. And then what? How do we get this shape in there correctly? Doesn't seem like an easy way to do the doesn't seem like there's an easy way to do that shape at all. Right? So I think it has to be inclusive. Which means what? This sort of shape plus something else. Notice also something very interesting. The two sets of 3 are mirrored to each other. So together, it would make a set of 6, like over here or something. So that's pretty interesting. But if we do that, we don't have a way to lock this bad boy off. What if we... no, that wouldn't work. I don't say, what if we loop this in somehow? But that, I don't see how to really do that exactly. But there must be something we can do. Yeah, we have to include that somewhere. How do we do that safely? Alright. Because we're already using up so much real estate doing this. How would we make this work flipped or something, right? Because we can't make it reach all the... We can't make this L shape reach all the way across, I don't think. What if we... Let's just double check on the bottom shapes. Yeah, that would work for the bottom shapes. Okay. That's what I thought. Let's do a check. But we need a way to implement the dot. How do we get the dot somewhere? I think it means we have to do something entirely different. That's what I feel in my gut. And we have to do something different with this. We have to do something different with these two sets of three. We know, I think we know. Well, no, we could do something like this. But I think we know that the L has to probably overlap with the threes. Or at least one of the threes. Yeah, both the threes. I think we know that as a fact because this shape just doesn't ever work out the right way because we can't get the three shapes to work. The triples, right? So we know that it has to be inclusive, or they have to include each other, but the threes have to include each other, maybe, but they can't unless they have the L to connect them, because they're polar opposites on the map. Then we have the single boy at the top. How do we get that incorporated, right? That's where things are really tricky. So maybe we just do this shape differently and still reach everything? Is there a way to do that? You know, like say this is our L, this is our triple. Oh, but then we don't have the other three in there. Does this work? No. This does not work for multiple reasons. One is that we have one extra square, so it would not work. Okay. What other options do we have for combining these? Man, I really liked it, this first shape. This felt really good, you know? But it doesn't seem to be the case that it's that. Exactly. It's some variation or something. Just trying to think of a big shape that we can put center stage. Let's look at the anatomy of this shape. How about that? If we rotate this shape, could it reach everything? Right? If we rotated it, it would reach all the way across, right? Like if we shifted it, say 90 degrees, could we have everything still inside this shape? That's what I want to figure out. Because if we do that, then I think we can get the 1 in there too. It's just visualizing how to flip it, you know? How to make that shape work. So let's see. So we would have the right side totally left alone. It would, and we still have to make sure we include everything too. That's the other thing. We still have to make sure we overlap everything. Which would be tricky because if we turn this 90 degrees, are we hitting the left 3, right? I'm not sure that we would be. I'm not sure that we would be able to do that. I don't know. This one's tough. Let me make the shape again. Start visualizing again about rotating it. Trying to visualize at least. Now let's try. So the L would be going. God, this is tough. It'd be like this way? And then this. It's just not reaching at all. Hmm. Alright, so maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Maybe it's a case of... No, I'm not thinking about that wrong. Because we have to use one of these threes, I think. Well, actually. Another option we have is if we could condense this down slightly somehow or change the way we exit it. That may work. Because then we could come at this from the left side, and that would work, I think. So let's try flipping it. Let's just try flipping it. Let's do this. This works. Right? I just had to solve it the other way. Let's see what happens here real quick. Get an underground tunnel. That's where we're going to stop today, actually, right before going into this lovely underground tunnel that leads to who knows where. But we did okay. I mean, we solved 3 puzzles in 30 minutes. It's not a breakneck pace, but I think we're also nearing the end of this Tetris swamp section, right? So it's natural that the difficulty is going to spike slightly. But I am sorry if I did not solve at a pace that you enjoyed today. I really tried. It really hurt my head. But yeah, I didn't talk about much besides the game today. I was just so focused and trying to rack my mind around things. Hope you're doing great. Hope you're enjoying my playthrough of The Witness. I hope you enjoy The Witness. I hope you enjoy these sort of environmental puzzle solving games, right? It's really beautiful and peaceful. Like, even though I'm racking my brain playing this, I never feel any level of stress at all, which is very nice, you know? It's quite a big reason why I enjoy this game. And there's still so much mystery around the world that's very subtle, and you just don't know what it means. Like, that right there, that lady, and how her statue connects with the hand of the girl over there. Why is that a case? Is there something we can do about that? What's the meaning behind it, you know? It gives me very much a feel of playing the Outer Wilds, right? Where there's all this crazy environmental storytelling that you don't quite understand yet, but maybe you feel like you will one day, you know? But that's all I got. Progress was made, so we call it a win. And we didn't end stumped, so that's always nice. That's all I got. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Make sure you take care of others. And I will see you next time. Peace out.